Hey YouTube, this is Engineer775 and I wanted to thank everyone for subscribing to my channel, and it's been overwhelming the last day and a half. Never received so many emails in my life, but again, thank you for the comments, the questions, and special thanks goes out to Don at Such Double Op and David at Southern Prepper 1. Those guys were really great. Last week we got together and talked about several things, and look forward to working with them in the future. I'm going to tag on to this just some of the projects I'm working on, just infrastructure for one. What do I mean by that? When you're prepping, just having multiple ways of getting safe water for your family, for your retreat, and cooking, heating, the things we take for granted, basically. So you're going to see on my site a lot of redundancies, different ways of doing the same thing, different ways of getting water, and I have a lot of different ways, probably 5 or 6 ways of getting clean potable water. And so maybe one of these scenarios will fit your situation. You might have a pond, you might have a creek, you might not need to develop a spring, and I'll go through that. Or you might just be filtering water from a neighborhood river, or maybe you need to pasteurize the water. Maybe that would be better for you and your retreat. We'll be working on that. I am an engineer. I'm a geek. I like to apply newfangled technology and ideas to old-fangled technologies. There's a lot of great things from the 1800s, early 1900s that have been forgotten, and so I'm trying to revamp some of those, use some of those ideas, but also apply some new technology to them. I'm trying to use wood as a main source of fuel here, as you've seen in probably another video, and I'll be talking about that, showing you different things that you can do with wood, a renewable resource. And everything we're going to cover: gardening, water, food, cooking, heating, and save the tactical stuff for guys that are more skilled at that, like David over at Southern Prepper 1. So I guess that's about it. Again, thank you so much. Be working on some new things, some things you might not have ever seen before, things that I'm just trying to do. Food dehydration was my latest, using water to do that, and then water pasteurization, using the wood again to heat the water to pasteurize water from any source to make it safe for you and your family. Again, this channel is about helping people in tough times. I get a lot of, well, I know what you're doing, Scott, and I'm coming to your house if things get bad. I get that a lot, and you probably, some of you get that as well. Well, I'm going to try to help as many as I can, and that's part of why I'm doing this YouTube site, is to help you now. You need to be prepping right now, not when it hits the fan. Okay, got questions, comments? Look forward to trying to help you and answering those. And again, thank you again for subscribing, and God bless. I will say one thing about some of the comments in regards to solar power. Now, I'm not knocking solar. I've just found it for myself to be useful in just 2 areas. Now, don't take that the wrong way. I've been pumping water with solar for 6.5 years, and it is fantastic. Pump over 2,500 gallons a day using a solar pump direct drive system that you see on the site. That is a great use of solar. Also, charging batteries, I've seen that has been great, and I've used that. I use that all the time. When it comes to generating power, electricity, there's a lot of it's just expensive. So I don't know how people are affording to do it. And again, solar, even here where I am, we're getting about 4.5 hours of usable solar a day, if the weather permitting. And so I've gone to wood as a source of energy, not the solar. And I'm actually, I look at trees. When I see trees, I see wood. I see that as a solar battery. That's energy that's already been converted from the sun into a usable resource that I can use at any time, 24/7. For instance, the generator. I can start that up on wood anytime and in any condition of weather. We got a storm coming in here, so they say, and I won't say I'm looking forward to that, but those are great. I use every storm in the last couple of years as a way to test my preps And so there's one coming here. So I want to be able to run either on vegetable oil or wood or things that I have already stored here. So solar it's just, when I weighed it out, it was wood versus solar, and solar is great if you've got the money. Go ahead, because it'll save you a lot of labor. But wood I can always do, and I can produce a lot more from the wood as a fuel than I can from the solar panels. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. I might get some comments based on that, but a lot of people, why don't you do solar this, why don't you do solar that? And it's go ahead, test it. It's inconsistent, and that ought to get some people fired up out there. But it's a great resource, and a lot of people are doing some neat things with solar. I've just chosen to go this route because of what I have here on our retreat on our property. All right, God bless and thanks again. Infrastructure. Here's one of my ram pumps. It's been in for a couple years. It's just a homemade job. It's a 3/4 inch version. I got a 1 inch line coming in. It's a 3/4 inch pump, and then I have 1/2 inch PEX going up the hill. You can see some of the white pipe up there in the woods, and there's some blue too. That's for the larger ram install, which I have over here, and that pipe is my drive pipe for that ram. That one I've actually got back at the shop. You've seen that on other videos. And so I'm going to start this baby up. It's kind of already primed. I've already got some water in the system. I had drained it down. It was cold. I didn't want it to freeze last night. So that's a little baby ram. This thing will run. I think I've got 1 million cycles on that swing check valve, and the same on that. This is the one that gets the wear and tear. This one doesn't. But for about $10, you can pump 1,000 gallons of water. Well, those 2 check valves. So I'll take that back. $20 for the pump. That's about what I have in it. And you can add some bells and whistles and different valves, and you can get it up to around 50, but not necessary. Okay, while that's pumping, I'm gonna walk up here. I've got a series of pipes coming out of my dam to do these tests. Okay, we're back at the ram pump. You saw me turn the pump on, and now we're getting a good steady stream of water. A full pipe of 1/2 inch PEX running out of there. Again, I'm about 30 feet above the pump now. Again, no electricity, pumps 24/7. We'll be hooking this on and then taking it up for 2 reasons. To test this little cheap pump out, homemade ram pump, and then also to be a redundancy to my solar pump. You see the trail. I'm not going to walk all the way up there on video. I'm gonna have to wheel it off to tell you. Baxter, easy. Come here. Say hey to YouTube. Hey YouTube. This is Baxter. He's a real calm dog. He's my helper out here as we put in our redundancies for our ram pump. He's a real helpful dog, as you can see. Wow. Okay, what am I doing? Let's turn back over here. Baxter, chill out. Okay, this is just a gauge I've got on the end of my ram pump. You saw the ram pump working, and I'm up to about, you can see on the gauge, we're getting close to 20 psi. The needle started on 0 and it's pumping up. What that tells me is that little ram pump, if it gets to 20 psi, multiply that by 2.31. That's how much farther I know I can pump water, guaranteed, just reading that gauge pressure. So whatever you read on your gauge, multiply by 2.31, and that'll tell you the amount of head that pump's capable of going, at least from this point. Again, I'm already probably 35 feet above the pump at this point. That means if that gets to 20 psi, I'm going to be about 46, and I might be able to get 50 more feet, and that's really all I'm going to need to get it to the first cattle tank on the hill. But my goal is to build a homemade pump under $50 to be able to pump at least 100 to 150 feet in the air, and to keep the cost under $50. So stay tuned for progress on this project, but we're still making, I mean, this is a tortoise in the hare. You're seeing that needle hasn't moved much, but it's been moving quite a while. Right, Baxter? don't you say hey to the camera? And to add to the previous video on this ram pump gauge here, I just want to show you that I just relieved some, but here's what the pressure reads. And that little pump's down there pumping away without electricity. And this is 35 feet above the pump. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, you know the water's up here, you can see, kind of get an idea. And then it goes over the bank and you can't see, it just drops off to the pump. All right. God bless.